Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2022 SHRDC Expert Forum on International Training. So my name is Grace Wan, your host for today's event, and I'm very honored to be here with you and welcome you all. And I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to all of you for joining us despite your busy schedule. And for the past 2 years, we completely changed our forum into online version due to COVID-19 pandemic. However, today's forum is more than timely and relevant as it is being held online and offline at the same time. And my special thanks go to the public officials from other cities invited by Seoul Metropolitan Government who made far away to join us today. And for those who are joining online, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you're at. And all the alumni and presenters joining this forum are very welcome as well. Today's forum is being streamed via YouTube channel in real time. And also many are joining us on a Zoom meeting. The whole forum will be in English. Simultaneous interpretation is provided for today's event. And so if you need interpretation, please install the Zoom application on your PC or on your mobile phone for your convenience. And I'd like to inform you that all the copyright for today's forum belongs to SHRDC. Thank you for your cooperation. And now I officially announce the opening of SHRDC Expert Forum. First of all, Mr. Won-Mok Lee, the president of SHRDC, will give welcoming remarks. So President Lee, now the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, I am Won-Mok Lee, President of Seoul Human Resource Development Center. Thank you for joining 2022 SHRDC Expert Forum despite your busy schedule. Since its start in 2008, SHRDC International Training continues to grow for the last 15 years. In 2014, we became the headquarters of the Metropolis International Training Institute. Despite many difficulties from inside and outside, we expanded our reach to online and new cities and local government. Now we have become the unique and best platform to share Seoul's experience and policies for solving global urban problems. It's all thanks to SHRDC alumni and training partners who are with us today in this forum. Today's forum will be a chance to look back on 15 years of our effort. Also, it will be a channel to seek better ways and ideas for the future development of our international training. Please be spoken, we will listen to you. Your words and wisdom you will share today will lead us to another leap forward. Once again, thank you for joining us, both online and offline. I hope today's forum will be a meaningful time for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, President Lee, for your warm welcoming. So now, Jordi Vaquero, Secretary General of Metropolis, will deliver congratulatory address from Barcelona. So let's meet him on the screen.
My name is Jordi Vaquer and I'm the Secretary General of Metropolis, the World Association of Major Cities and Metropolitan Areas, and it's a pleasure to greet all the participants in this expert forum of the Seoul Human Resources Development Center. Metropolis and SHRDC Seoul have been partners on a project called the Metropolis International Training Institutes for well over a decade, and our collaboration is, I would say, even more important now than ever. At a time of uncertainty, of crisis, the climate crisis, the pandemic, economic and other challenges coming to cities, we believe that the value of training, of capacity building, is much increased. We now need civil servants and city administrators who are ready to challenge and to fight for a better future for the metropolis, thanks to all this work that we're doing together and we will continue to do in the years to come. So all the success to the Expert Forum, and see you all next year at the Metropolis Congress in Brussels, Belgium. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary General, for your warm remarks. And now, today's forum includes presentations of SHRDC training alumni and experts from related organizations. We will reflect on what we have done and think of the meaning of international training once again. Furthermore, we will seek for the future direction and pave the way for the improvement and development of international training. And I'd like to brief the schedule of today's forum. During the first session, President Lee will deliver the keynote speech. And after the keynote, we will hear case presentations from training alumni and experts from related organizations. And then on the second session, we invite special guests and experts and have panel discussion. And now we will proceed to the keynote speech. As I mentioned earlier, President Lee, once again, will give a keynote speech for us on the title of the meaning and achievement of SHRDC International Training. Before we meet President Lee on the screen, we will first check out what we have done, the history, and the development of our international training programs. So let's watch it together.
Hi, my name is Maria Camila Cesar. I'm from Medellin, Colombia. Okay, I think that is a good content. First day of offline course, it's amazing. We know different people of different countries and learn about the development and the infrastructure of Seoul.
Hello everyone, I'm Won-Mok Lee, President of SHRDC. Today, I'm here to share the story and achievement of SHRDC international training last 15 years. Also, I would like to find a way for the future development direction of our training. I hope today's event to be a cornerstone for the future development of SHRDC International Training Program. First of all, I would start from the current status of SHRDC International Training. SHRDC International Training began as an international exchanges for the public officials of Seoul, sister and friendship cities. a transportation policy exchange training program for senior public officials of Chinese cities in 2008 was the first one. Since then, the Ordinance on Promotion of International Exchange and Cooperation of the Seoul Metropolitan Government was revised in 2014. Accordingly, SHRDC International Training expanded its goals of training to sharing Seoul's successful policies and experience with foreign officials and building the capacity of urban policy. With the international travel restriction due to the spread of COVID-19, SHRDC transmitted all offline international training into an online one in 2020. As the restriction of quarantine measures has lifted up the second half of 2022, we resumed the in-person offline international training program in 3 years. SHRDC is the headquarters of Metropolis International Training Institute, or MITI. In 2008, we began as MITI Asian Center, and with the successful performance, we were able to host the headquarters of MITI in 2014. Serving as a headquarters, we strive to strengthen the capacity of member cities' officials and share training skills with regional centers such as Cairo, Mashoud, and Mexico City. We also lead the urban training and development agenda through active participation at global fora such as the Metropolis Congress. And now, I would like to move on to the achievement part. This is our training in numbers. Over the past 15 years, 2,688 foreign city officials in 282 cities in 72 countries have participated in 174 international training courses to learn Seoul's urban policies. The training courses are classified mainly into 4 Polish themes such as smart city and e-government, mobility and urban transportation, urban management and city planning, and climate change and environment. In addition, there are other including culture, water management, women welfare, and social economy. These are the numbers of participants by training policy theme. If you can chart the main policy areas the participants are interested in: smart city and e-government, mobility and urban transportation, and urban management. In the meantime, we can categorize participants into 3. First, high-level managers such as mayors or city councilors. Second, middle-level managers could influence decision-making. And last, working-level managers. More than 800 participants of SHRDC were high and middle-level managers who are in the position of decision-making. So, many foreign leaders and officials learned about Seoul's policy cases and gained insight to resolve urban problems while strengthening their capabilities. However, for Seoul, it is so meaningful that we contributed to the development of other cities and fostered competent pro-Seoul public officials. In 2008, 5 out of 9 courses were only for Asian city officials, but in 2019, 9 out of 17 courses were targeted at public officials on all continents. As the operation of MITI headquarters became more active, this led to the participation of various cities around the globe. Meanwhile, traveling between countries was suspended due to the spread of COVID-19 in 2020. However, despite the difficulties of international exchanges, SHRDC continues operating training program online, so that 53 new cities from 22 countries met Seoul online and learned Seoul's policies. As such, our training has important implications for international networking and urban diplomacy in Seoul. Now, we'll shed the light on the achievement of SHRDC international training from two perspectives. First of all, from the perspective of participating cities and participants, they could get benchmarking models and ideas to resolve urban problems through international training and strengthen their policy capabilities. On the other hand, SHRDC international training has continued steadily for the past 15 years without interruption. I think this is good evidence of our training contributed to the development of human resources in foreign cities and supported urban problem resolving and sustainable development. So we can say that international training contributed greatly to the development of Seoul as a global leading city. Participants in the training understood Seoul's policies and learned various policy examples through lectures and discussion. In addition, they learned Seoul's know-how by listening to the experts and sharing experience with the Seoul government officials. In other words, they gained the basis for resolving their own urban problems and laid the foundation for capacity development to drive urban development. The following are performance cases of SHRDC international training presented by SHRDC alumni at the annual forum. In Buenos Aires, Argentina, Seoul's topics inspired the construction of Traffic and Disaster Information Integration Center. Delhi, India, benchmarked Seoul's 응답소 Center and M-voting to improve its citizen participation e-government system. In Kampala, Uganda, benchmarked Dasan 120 call center of Seoul to establish a citizen participation platform. The following are examples of cases for talent development and capacity building that will drive urban development. In Bandung, Indonesia, SHRDC international training is adopted as a policy capacity building program for high potential key officials. Let's look at the Cairo, Egypt case. SHRDC has been dispatching Seoul's experts to an international workshop held by Cairo Regional Center since 2016. This contributed to the development of urban policy experts in Cairo. For Bangkok, Thailand, SHRDC shared HRD cases and know-how. So, Bangkok Metropolitan Administration Training and Development Institute, an educational institution for public officials in Bangkok, learned insight to introduce non-face-to-face education and renew online training. Many cities are trying to find inspiration from Seoul's cases rather than that of US or Europe. This means that Seoul's experience has been seen as an applicable even though the conditions and situations are different. I would like to reiterate the achievement of SHRDC international training. Our training continued for 15 years, and we expanded the scope of international exchange in Seoul. We also contributed to strengthening Seoul's urban competitiveness. We have led Seoul to develop into a leading global city. And we led Seoul to lead global urban agenda for shared win-win development of global cities. This means that SHRDC international training is a core activity of Seoul's urban diplomacy. So we have been able to be continued for 15 years. Lastly, I would like to talk about the future development direction. The future vision of SHRDC is a leap forward as an urban policy hub for the win-win development of global cities. The goal for achieving this vision is as follows. First, we'll develop into an urban solution sharing hub. We'll share experiences and best practices of Seoul and world cities for resolving global urban problems. Second, becoming a hub for urban diplomacy activities in Seoul. There are 3 strategies to realize these goals. First, global urban policy platform strategy. We will develop ourselves into a comprehensive and unique urban solution sharing platform. Second, regarding education method and training skills strategy, we'll innovate those training methods so that we can provide practical ideas to resolve urban problems. Third, in terms of international exchange and urban diplomacy strategy, we'll try to be recognized as one of the practical core activities of urban diplomacy in Seoul. Firstly, the content and platform aspect of SHRDC international training. In the future, we'll develop Seoul's urban problem-solving experience and policies into universal and compact learning content. This will meet the training needs of public officials in foreign cities. At the same time, we'll develop advanced and deepened policy content for advanced and retraining courses. In addition, we'll prepare techniques and platforms based on mutual practical learning. This will help trainees to present and share experiences and cases of their own city. So the training will be beyond the one-way transfer of Seoul's urban problem-solving policy experience and cases. We'll increase the accessibility and usability of the current international training MOOC platform. This will support new content and training techniques. Though this will make efforts to develop the SHRDC training program into a platform for learning and exchanging global urban policy. The platform will share policy cases and experiences that have solved the world urban problem. Secondly, I would like to share the training program development strategy in terms of education methods and training skills. Now, online non-face-to-face education has become common in the field. Over the past 3 years, SHRDC international training has been promoted online due to COVID-19. 94 people from 3 cities participated in 2020 SHRDC online training. But in 2022, 280 people from 71 cities participated in 9 online training, making non-face-to-face mode more spread. However, the preference for offline prevailed over online one. According to the SHRDC survey, more than 80% of respondents preferred offline training that allows field visit and face-to-face discussion. Therefore, SHRDC training program should innovate in a 2-track format. Online training should provide more training opportunities for more cities. And offline training should deepen its contents. It also needs to be combined with online pre-learning. Finally, the development strategy in terms of international exchange and city diplomacy. Urban diplomacy is a new form of public diplomacy carried out by cities to improve the quality of life and promote mutual development among cities. Seoul effectively overcame urban problems that occurred during the rapid development in a short period of time and grew one of the world-class cities. So, Seoul's experience and success stories are attractive to public officials and experts in developing countries. Despite the difficult situation of travel restrictions, SHRDC continued bilateral city exchanges with the sister cities of Seoul through international training. And as the MITI headquarters, we expanded the horizon of Seoul's urban diplomacy through cooperation with the international organizations such as UCLG, SPEC, and Africa. K-Wave is also hot in public policy sharing. K-policy sharing is a K-Wave that shares Korea's experience of economic growth and development with the world. SHRDC International Training Program can lead a K-wave of K-policy sharing as an S-policy sharing. By doing so, it can establish itself as a core activity for international exchange in Seoul. SHRDC International Training can enhance Seoul's global urban competitiveness and attractiveness as a small but exemplary leader for K-policy sharing. According to the Metropolis, by 2030, 2.6 billion people are expected to live in large metropolitan cities. This concentration is accelerating and causing unprecedented urban problems. SHRDC will make continuous efforts to provide international training that can present innovative and sustainable solutions to the current and future global urban challenges. I hope that many city officials present here will also join us in Seoul's effort and add cooperation and support. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, President Lee, for your insightful keynote speech. So now we are moving on to the case presentations. So the first presentation is prepared by the Republic of Uzbekistan Embassy in Korea. International training of Tashkent was the very first online training that was held because of the request of the embassy directly. Considering the 30th anniversary of establishing diplomatic ties between the two countries, the training program definitely contributes to strengthening cooperation and friendship, as well as expansion of networking between the two. So, RGF Pazilinin, the Minister Consular of the Embassy of the Republic of Uzbekistan in Korea, will give the presentation. So, let's meet him on the screen.
Today at SHRDC, a joint stock company and online seminar on the topic of transport policy and urban infrastructure development was organized. In this seminar, the head of Seoul Transportation Corporation, Mr. Kim Sang-bom, shared his rich experience through online communication. And such an illegal parking obstructs, for example, the passageway for a fire truck, then the entire economic capabilities were focused on creation of additional infrastructure. Know-how, we had not have sufficient technologies, but after 34 years, we managed to construct independently. We acquired technologies. At the seminar, detailed information was provided on the many works aimed at the improvement and development of Seoul's transportation system from 1960 to today, as well as the problems that have arisen there. An online seminar is being held between the joint stock company SHRDC and specialists from the transport system of South Korea. Today, we study and exchange information about foreign transport systems with advanced technologies.
I think that later in this field, we will make a lot of progress by implementing many know-hows that we have learned from them.
At the meeting, Mr. Kim Sang-bom also gave detailed information on the main policies, goals, and objectives of the transport system, and the targeted reforms of the bus route. All employees of joint stock company SHRDC who took part in the seminar received information they needed at the seminar.
Fazlidin Arziev, Counselor of Embassy of Uzbekistan in Seoul. The problem of improving transport system in the city of Tashkent and studying experience of Seoul in this regard. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the Human Resource Development Center of Seoul City Hall for inviting me to participate in today's conference. I believe that such conferences are very important in terms of sharing experiences and effective solving existing problems in the transport domain. I would like to use the time available to me to talk about the current problems in Tashkent's transport system and the work being done to improve the transport system. Today, the population of Tashkent is 2.7 million people. Additionally, the population arriving from different regions is about 1.4 million people. Every day in Tashkent, 1.2 million people use public transport. 40% of them use buses, 36% use metro, 14% use taxis, and 10% use share taxis. More than 2.5 million people use personally owned vehicles. In Tashkent, passenger transportation by public transport is carried out by bus, metro, share, and line taxis. In the city, 468 transport operators of various forms of ownership are engaged, including 13 enterprises providing services on bus routes, 8 with state-owned share, 55 enterprises on share taxi routes, and 400 enterprises of line taxis. As of January 1, 2022, the enterprises of the Toshahar Transkismat Joint Stock Company operate only 1,168 city passenger buses, 30% of which have been in operation for more than 10 years. The average service life of buses is 7.4 years. State Unitary Enterprise Tashkent Metro has 264 metro cars in its balance sheet, 60% of which have been in operation for more than 30 years. Of course, the government of Uzbekistan is constantly paying attention to solving these problems. In particular, over the past 2 years, in order to comprehensively develop public transport system of Tashkent City, provide quality and safe transport services to passengers, improve transport infrastructure, renew rolling stock with modern and comfortable buses, ensure road safety, and create a favorable environment for pedestrians. In accordance with these documents, the priority areas of Tashkent's public transport system development are defined as following. Comprehensive development of public transport system with integration of all types, increasing the level of use of public transport by at least 2 times. Development of public transport infrastructure, expansion of metro network, organization of modern transport hubs and bus stops based on standard designs, redesign of intersections and streets to prioritize public transport traffic. Financial recovery of the enterprises and doubling the private sector share by improving system of transport operator financing and tariff policy. Development of bicycles and other non-motorized modes of transportation. Organization of special pedestrian and bicycle paths, bicycle rentals, and special bicycle parking lots. Implementation of intelligent traffic control systems, smart intersection, smart bus, and smart stop, and ensuring road safety through extensive use of digital technologies and innovative approaches. Renewing the rolling stock of public transport with modern, environmentally friendly buses, including electric buses. Increasing the share of public transport in total volume of passenger traffic from 21% in present days to 43%. In addition, a concept for the development of Tashkent City public transport system until 2025, was adopted. The main goal of the concept is to increase the level of public transport use by at least 2 times, to create favorable and safe conditions for passengers' transportation, as well as to improve environmental situation in the city by reducing negative impact of transport on the environment. The main essence of the concept is to create a convenient, attractive public transport system in Tashkent City, with priority given to creating a favorable infrastructure for pedestrians and, respectively, for cycling, urban public transport, and private transport. It should be noted that this concept pays special attention to study of foreign experience and management of traffic flows in large cities. To this end, with support of the Embassy of Uzbekistan in Seoul, good cooperation has been established between the Human Resource Development Center of the Seoul City Hall and the Tosh-Shahar Transkismat Joint Stock Company. This year, the Human Resource Development Center of Seoul City Hall organized an online seminar for representatives of Tosh-Shahar Transkismat JSC with agenda Transportation Policy and Urban Infrastructure Development, the example of Seoul City. In this online seminar, Kim Sang-bom, head of the South Korean Transportation Corporation, and Han Yong-jun, an expert in the field, shared their wealth of experience. About 100 employees of Tosh-Shahar Transkismat who took part in the seminar received detailed answers to all their questions. In particular, the participants of the online seminar received detailed answers to questions related to proper organization of public transport management system financing, application of modern information technologies, organization of traffic network, improving of payment system in public transport, improving of quality of provided services, expanding possibilities of using public transport at the expense of the population, and most importantly, introducing a convenient system of fares in public transport. We believe that studying South Korea's experience and know-how in transport, information technology, service, and other areas will be useful for development of transport infrastructure of Tashkent City. For this purpose, next January, a visit of Tosh-Shahar Transkismat employees group to Seoul is scheduled for training with support of Human Resources Development Center of Seoul City Hall. In conclusion, I would like to note that international experience shows that in all developed metropolitan cities, the only effective way to meet the population's requirements for transportation is the introduction of a people-friendly public transport system. What is the convenience of public transportation? First, the population must be given the opportunity to reach their destination point in a demanded direction in a guaranteed time. At the same time, it must be safe to use public transportation so that residents can safely get to their destinations. The problem of public transportation is a common problem to almost every country in the world. This problem, of course, can be solved by sharing experience and bringing in new know-how. Once again, I would like to thank the Human Resource Development Center of Seoul City Hall for giving me the opportunity to participate in this conference. Hope to see you at the next conferences. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation, Minister Councillor Fazilidin. The second presentation is prepared by Sao Paulo, Brazil. As one of the sister cities of Seoul, it has been continuously joining our training program. So Ms. Hanem Kim Seo, the urban advisor at Sao Paulo City Hall and MUAP 13's alumni, and her associate, Rosanna Yamaguchi, will share Sao Paulo's official cooperation and training experience with the Seoul Metropolitan Government and SHRDC. So ladies and gentlemen, let's meet them on the screen together.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. It's a pleasure to participate in this forum. First, in the name of our Urbanism and Licensing Department Secretary, Mr. Marcos Gadelho, We would like to greet all excellencies, authorities, officials, and keynote speakers of this event. My name is Hanem Kim Seo, Urban Advisor at São Paulo City Hall and a MUAP 13 alumni. Today, my fellow associate Hosanna Yamaguchi and I will share São Paulo's official cooperation and training experience with Seoul Metropolitan Government. Due to the time difference, we are recording this video as part of our presentation. I want to address today a bit of my experience about the lessons I learned in the MUAP program and how its internship experience envisioned projects of my own that impacted international cooperation project as a public officer. In 2020, during the worst pandemic period, I had the opportunity to connect with other public officers from my same field of action through the master's program at the International School of Urban Science, ISUS. It was a unique moment where we could, between closed doors, literally, think about urban solutions in our little room in the university dorms. Well, as said, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So I started to build my network with MUAP classmates and discovered that urban problems could be related in our different cities. However, solutions can be creative when shared with conscience and caution. For sure, that was the most valuable professional experience I could have in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. One of the mandatory duties in the program is the internship. Even with the COVID situation, our coordinators made a great effort to fulfill the requirement. So I was sent to the online internship with WeGo. Unfortunately, we could not develop much there, but it was possible to get in contact with the WeGo Latin America hub. After a while, I could engage in a SHRDC project with Maputo city officials. It was a great opportunity to use my language skills and transportation knowledge to integrate the Seoul Transportation Policy online training program for Maputo officials. In this internship, I joined the program coordination team and learned how knowledge sharing is important and achievable with technology and communication gadgets available. This experience made me think and imagine what will be and could be my role when I return to office. São Paulo is one of the largest cities in Latin America. I am certain that we do have a qualified technological and technical body with sufficient infrastructure to promote cooperation and training throughout Latin American countries. And having this experience at Seoul Human Resource Center allowed me to envision future projects to receive and share capacity building in urban issues. I returned to the urban department in August this year after 2 years of official leave. Back home, I started to activate my network to achieve and promote my vision. Firstly, it is important to observe the organization and clarify who is the high rank official that could be your ally before engaging in the project. This person can be a special assessor, the head of the Human Resource Department, or the International Affairs Department. In my case, I just ran into everyone and showed the potential of international cooperation. Fortunately, our most high authority, the secretary, also greatly perceives how knowledge sharing is important and useful for the corporation. After making my network available, it was important to engage in a feasible first step that ended up being a joint training program from SHRDC and WeGo, my COVID winter internship. Our secretary engaged in making available the training program to our advisory team that successfully concluded the course, as you will hear next from Hosanna. Maintaining interest and this strategic vision throughout the daily routine and heavy workload is really hard. However, searching internally for support and sharing the vision has been the key to keeping this international cooperation alive. We are still in our first steps, but our team has been gratefully engaged and excited for the next coming projects. Thank you for your support and kind attention. Next, my colleague Hosanna will share some thoughts and idea about international training. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Hosanna Yamaguchi and I'm a special advisor from the Urban Planning and Licensing Department of São Paulo City. Today, I will share São Paulo's experience in the recent edition of the Seoul Human Resources Center and We Go online training program, taken along with other representatives of the Urban Planning and Licensing Secretariat and the Innovation Technology Secretariat. Together, we were able to stress problems related to both departments seeking integrated solutions, as you can see in the image in the slide. In addition, this opportunity has strengthened relations and experiences between our different fields. As part of the program, we developed an action plan to bring a solution for an event licensing and publicizing system for São Paulo, using existing technologies and our expertise. The map shows the future integration of the system with the city web map. It has the potential to bring more agility to public control in the approval of events, as well as improve their publicity. I highlight the importance of the program's special lectures and presentation sections and the content of the online lectures by driving our action plan through important thoughts on technology applications developed by SOL to our realities. As my final thoughts to contribute to the improvement of the training program, the participation of representatives from key areas of the municipality has to have support of high-rank officials from the involved secretariats. In addition, it is important to have fellow colleagues joining the program together to endorse and support each other during the training. This can make the experience more meaningful and bring profitable outcomes. Also, it requires additional dedication time in parallel with the daily work demands. In this sense, we suggest evaluating a longer course period, allowing more time dedicated to classes and to the development of the action plan. As Renem mentioned in the beginning, it is necessary to have a strategic vision and institutional interest to promote cooperation and implement the knowledge acquired effectively. Therefore, the current challenge that we advisors aim to face is how to multiply the knowledge acquired in the different departments' units to impact public policies. Finally, we thank you again for the opportunity to participate and the knowledge shared throughout the course, and we reinforce our interest in future partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanem and Rosanna. That was the case presentation from São Paulo, Brazil. So we have to move on to the next presentation. The third presentation is prepared by Cairo, Egypt. As a Siri, the director of MITI Cairo Research Center, prepared the presentation on the case studies of our training program that we have made together, the achievement of Seoul as a headquarter of MITI, and the current status of our training programs. So ladies and gentlemen, now I'll pass the microphone to Director Siri. Siri, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you may start. The floor is yours. Okay, I can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning or good evening, wherever you are. I'm speaking from Cairo. Guys, it's quite early. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share our thoughts with you. Now, well, I'm going to speak about our cooperation with SHRDC Cairo. Although we started the work before 2009, but officially it was started 2014. So I'm going about what we have done, especially recently, and way ahead. I'm going to speak about the training, a glance of what until 2020, and then what happened after COVID-19, the lessons we learned from this cooperation, and the future ahead. Of course, we had some challenges in the beginning. Even before signing, we had this Egyptian revolution and political turbulence, and then we had the pandemic, Ukrainian war, and the economic crisis. But we have a lot of potentials in training courses, in getting experts at Cairo and give us our expertise in other collaboration in the future. Before the pandemic, we had several workshops. I think one of them was before the just before the pandemic. We were speaking about resilient cities, how cities can be proactive and maybe predict the problems. We get some experts from Korea, and we had more than 85 participants in this important workshop. And, of course, it was offline. Expert came, we had field visits, we had lectures, we had some kind of exercises. And so it was really a good workshop. In the previous workshops, we also had lectures, exercises, and field visits. We have, in some cases, collaboration with other entities, such as a workshop with a university in Saudi Arabia. In many cases, we had to visit. I give this idea of how workshops used to be before the pandemic, before the online training. We visited the areas or some kind of case studies, and we had to implement some exercise in the classroom. Of course, pandemic happened, and then everything changed. We had this kind of problems of being together. We had the problems of high risk if you travel by aeroplane. People stayed at home, and we were uncertain what to do. After the pandemic, we had been approached by SHRDC that we are thinking of having an online training, and thus we started the first formula of training with them. And we had first discussions on the topic that is needed, training assessment, what is needed in Cairo during this problem, the date of the implementation, trying to look who will be a participant. They have to have at least some computer skills. We tried to test the training module and then evaluate what happened. The first training was 2020. It was about smart city online training. We had also a module about COVID-19 and smart city, because we asked them for this. Now Cairo is having this pandemic. What did you do at that time? Korea was a success story of how they could trace the people who has this disease and try to notify everybody who had contact with them, and we had this course. This course participant should submit a quiz, an essay, and an individual action plan. We evaluated this training. We had about 20 participants. We had more applications, and thus we asked SHRDC to have another training with about the same topic, but developed with what people have asked us to do. We saw in 2021, we had the Smart City Online Training, round 2. In this round, it had, in the first round, it was all self-directed learning using pre-recorded lectures. In this round, we asked them to have more interactive online real-time sessions so that people can interact with the experts from Seoul. Also, the work was group work, so people can interact with each other and have insights. We created a WhatsApp group, a chat room, and everything was like developed a little bit from this time. Also, before doing so, we had to evaluate who should participate and CVs of the participants so that they can really benefit from the training. We did something also, an extra in this time, in this round. The participants asked us, MITI Cairo, to try to print their, because the first time they got the certificate online, they wanted it to be like printed with a cover their supervisors so that they have some appreciation by their heads or supervisors. We got encouraged with the SHRDC online training, so MITI Cairo developed a 2-day training workshop in collaboration with Seoul and Barcelona. We had online and offline participants. It was about post-pandemic building back better. What is the challenges and potentials that we learned during 1 year of the pandemic, and we use it to better develop the urban areas. We had some participants headquarters, and we had many others online participants. We also used many tools. We had a field visit for people who visit, and we had like a video for them if they were not, they were online. We also used the electronic voting on some topics discussing, so that we have this kind of collaboration between the people who are online and the people who are offline. We had a field visit to some area that was developed near the Nile River as the development that happened before the pandemic, but the pandemic made it quicker or made it used more. And then we had another course on 2020, sustainable transportation. I don't know if you are hearing me.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
You can hear me?
I think there was some tech problem here, but I think we're okay now, so continue,
Are you
please.
hearing me? Yes. You hear the presentation, or was it offline?
We can hear you, but the PPT,
you cannot see the PowerPoint?
No, now we can see it, but it's in a different slide.
Different slide. So did you see this slide? I'm sorry. Seeing the slide?
Yes, now we can see.
Okay. So this is about our training that we did because we were encouraged by what you have already done. And then we have the last training about sustainable transportation. This topic was more specific. We added more live sessions after the evaluation. People the live sessions more than the recorded lectures. We have also the group work, which they appreciated a lot because it is networking. We have about 27 participants who also had to have a quiz and to submit some. This is some of the people, the things that they have submitted, some of the group work. People also appreciated the networking between different entities, even within Egypt and with, of course, Seoul. The challenges or the needs for the future, I think we should promote to have some collaboration between different MITI network, such as Mashhad and Mexico, and any future MITI regional centers. Of course, some finance is needed for in the future if lecture and experts are to come to Cairo or the other way around. Also, if we have some kind of workshops for African countries, we need more translation, and thus we need more finance for that. Also, cooperation with other Metropolis activities, such as Metropolis Women Network and Metropolis Youth Network, and also other activities such as the Guangzhou Award. As for the e-training, we need assistance to develop more e-training workshops, and maybe if we develop it, we can circulate it between different MITI regional centers. The last thing is that we maybe go with the collaboration further ahead with the SHRDC and Seoul University to have researches on case studies from Cairo and from Seoul and comparisons and lessons learned, so that we can present these case studies or the product of the research in the training ahead. I believe this is the right time to prepare new training development strategies for MITI and SHRDC collaboration. Thank you, and sorry for any interruption in the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Azi. Even though there was some tech problems, we could get your message successfully. Thank you very much. So this brings the end of our first session. Now we are going to have a short break time. Those who are joining us online, please come back to no later than 3:10. We will begin again 3:10 p.m. Thank you for welcoming our panelists. So now, Professor Jin, the floor is yours, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jae-Tik Chin, the chair professor of MUAP program of ISUS at University of Seoul. So it is my honor to serve this discussion panelist as a moderator. And thanks again for welcoming us for this meaningful workshop 2022 SHRDC Expert Forum. So as you all already introduced, so let's just move on to the first panelist. We'll go to Cairo first, Dr. Ajasiri, Director of MITI Cairo Regional Center. She gave us the case presentation in the first session. Dr. Ajasiri, could you elaborate more on your expectation and with regard to future collaboration with the SHRDC? So in particular, because in the first session, you are talking mostly about online programming and a training program. So can you please go on to explain your expectation and experience of what we can do for near future?
For the near future, maybe we have a combination of online and offline training. We were thinking of some of the topics that can be of value for us, especially that we have several of our colleagues that have visited Seoul, had of course the experience of visiting how you have developed, especially the open spaces and the importance of community development, the importance of the participation of the community in the development of open spaces left leftover spaces, such as the spaces under the bridges, or very small leftovers in urban areas that can be of use to develop open areas that have been identified as important, especially during the COVID. Even if your flat is a small one, you need an open space to meet others, to be away from the high risk of getting any virus or such things. My colleagues from MITI Cairo like also to give their ideas about future collaboration, especially any collaboration with also
Recording
the University
in progress.
of Seoul. It's
This
important
meeting is being recorded.
That you are here, so we'd like your ideas about maybe developing a research between the university and SHRDC as part of preparing case studies to be presented in future workshops. So I
Recording
think I have
stopped.
several colleagues
The
from
recording stopped.
would like to speak about that.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Jasri. So I can really agree with your point of view regarding the importance of community development and open spaces, because in particular, since COVID-19 internationally, there are a lot of demand is really increasing the importance of the open spaces. And also for the collaboration for near future, as you mentioned, what would be the impact of those COVID-19, as well as in terms of research collaboration and some case study. I think that's what we can do together as a kind of a short-term project. So next, we will continue to invite the panelists from Cairo again, Ms. Mona Talat of MITI Cairo Regional Center. She's a very special panelist, as she's our alumni, MUIP alumni, MUIP 10. Mona, I was told that you learned about ISUS at SHRDC Cairo workshop, where our Professor Jun Park as a lecturer about one of them. Yes. Can you just begin with your experience, then share your experience for us?
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. President Mr. Lee and SHRDC team for the invitation. And I'm very happy with you, Professor Chin, for the first time. It's very nice to be part of all these families, HPRC, ICS, and SHRDC. Actually, the cooperation itself was already successfully started in 2014, as Dr. Aza mentioned in her presentation. And I knew about the Seoul and MUIP program during attending one of these workshop, relocation policies workshop in 2017. Meeting with the Korean professor and Professor Park, Jun Park, in Cairo gave me the privilege to know and learn about the MUIP program. And I started that and apply and finally accepted, and studying in Seoul for 1 year, learning from all Seoul policies that it gives me open new ideas and facilitate more cooperation with various backgrounds from all my colleagues there also, and studying how Seoul has been solving their urban problems. Moreover, after that, I came back and I had the opportunity to continue and work with my colleagues in organizing more workshops, and I have cooperated in the Resilient Cities workshop, and we could host participants from Yemen, who is MUIP alumni, MUIP 11. And we hosted also a speaker from Somalia. And despite the COVID-19 and the pandemic, we didn't stop. We continue organizing 3 online courses with SHRDC, and now we are continuing for the next workshop, And as Dr. Azza said, we are discussing expanding this fruitful cooperation, especially that Egypt, the country, was hosting a COP27 and talking about the climate change issues. And from South Side and SHRDC, after resuming the workshop in Seoul, I should say my colleagues are very excited to apply for the coming one. We are waiting for it and learn more about the Seoul policies and enhance our cooperation more and more. And I'm sure we can hear some remarks from the recent participants we have. Maggie and Dr. Wala, Dr. Sarah, and Engineer Heba now with us in the forum. We can hear some remarks from their ideas for the next cooperation or the courses that they already attended. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mona. I'm very glad to hear that. Well, since you left here about 3-4 years ago, right? Then you has become a kind of leader in your country, also including nearby countries, and also you're addressing the climate change issue. So I think that's what we can do together with a collaboration with the SHRDC between Cairo and Seoul. So now we will travel to Tashkent. So we will invite Shoha, who is our MUAP 14. As far as I know, Shoha did an internship just past February, I believe, as HLTC to support preparation for online training for Tashkent officials. Also, I'd like to let you know that, Shoha will be getting married tomorrow. Yes, congratulations, Shoha. So, Shoha, could you... Yeah, sure. Could you tell us more about your experience here at SHRDC and your experience in Tashkent online training, very briefly?
Yes, of course. Actually, it was amazing experience for me to have chance and opportunity to study in ISUS and have get internship in Seoul Human Resource Development Centers. Even I met like Sunbe, Mr. Kevin, the president and director, Mr. Lee. It was really amazing experience for me. Even nowadays, I return to our ministry. I'm doing my research about industrial zones in our country and Central Asia in Korea experience and planning to implement smart city solutions in our country. Even now, I know how is the public sector should work, especially getting chance from like when I got internship in Seoul Human Resource Development Center. Now I know how to implement the project there. So that's why at the same time, for example, our alumni, Mr. Fayazov, he's my head. We are working together in the international department. Especially last week, our delegations from Uzbekistan, they went to Korea. They signed several memorandums. We expand our cooperation with Korea and Uzbekistan. You know, even our cooperation between Uzbekistan and Korea started from our independence. Like 30 years we are together working. And I am happy to see and know that nowadays a lot of students from Uzbekistan studying in ISUS, International Study University of Seoul, and they're learning such kind of experience. And we are a majority, especially all of them from the public sector, and they're implementing their experience from South Korea in our country. They're attracting more Korean companies. We are working together. We are starting our big international techno parks, especially. And so that's why, for example, in my view and near future, even like Toshahar Transkhizmat, we implemented such kind of projects together, with Mr. Sunde and Kevin. We went to the embassy. We worked with Mr. Aziz and like Mr. Aziz also. And it was like first steps to work on that case. And now I wish and hope that we could implement and organize offline and online trainings together for the next year or January or February, not only Toshaka, Transkhazmat and other ministries like Ministry of Tourism, and our ministry is responsible organizations for implementing smart cities on the law side, and on the projects we are starting like several pilot projects. And at the same time, for example, if you're curious about like last like memorandums, we are working like we are organizing annual events, which I am told mentioned it several times. Even this year, I returned to Uzbekistan a little bit late, but you know, next year we are planning to organize it in Samarkand, and I would like to invite all of the like dignitaries and our like uh, deans and Mr. Lee and Mr. Shin to our annual week of International Week of Innovative Ideas next year, which will be held in Samarkand city. It's like second capital, one of the old city, and we could organize mutual like in cooperation like trainings together for our public officials. I'm open for any kind of proposals. Thanks a lot. If you need any kind of assistance from my side, I will open. It's my pleasure with you. And next year, of course, in August, I will return and get graduation. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Shor. It is very great to hear that because you just came back to your country just past summer, but for the even very short period of time, you had to be very proactive for sharing your experience in Seoul to Tashkent, even though there are some challenging conditions you have because our two cities are quite different. So now we will travel to South America, Brazil, Sao Paulo. We will invite Hanan and Renan at the same time. Renan participated in SHRDC WeGo in the last month, also Hanan. Hanan is also a US family, MIP 14, and she also did engaged SHRDC international training, a very special manner, as you have learned from her keynote presentation just previously. So I will ask both of you, what would be a future prospect in terms of Seoul and Sao Paulo cooperation through SHRDC training?
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. I would like to highlight the São Paulo's initial experience with SHRDC International Training Program. Well, we developed an action plan for integrated solutions for events and licensing and publicizing system. That is just one of our challenges. And our proposal was based in the local reality with the concept that we learned and that were available in the classes during the training, such as Soul Success and the social participation solutions. Our organization is engaged in this cooperation, and the contact of the training was very important for the multiplication of the knowledge and our municipal public policies. And we would like to thank you for the opportunity to participate on the SHRDC International Training Program, and would like to thank you for sharing your experience with us. We are open to future partnership, and thank you all.
Just continuing, I think one thing my previous colleague panelist said, it's about importance of training and international cooperation between technical teams. So the different point of views along for example, Cairo, Sao Paulo can be mixed in a training program. That's the most interesting part. And also, in particular, for Sao Paulo City, I think we had a really good experience because the proposal was talking about was proposed not only by our department, but with the innovation and technological department. And during our daily routine, we are not really able to interact with others department because of the daily routine so heavy. But taking aside some time to take some training with other colleagues from the same city hall but other departments was really important. And I think this part is it's kind of a stressful moment when you have to build the action plan, when you have to gather all the different points, even in the same city problem. So, for example, they were Hannah, Hosanna, and another colleague from innovation technology department was trying to solve a problem, but even there we could see different perspectives of solutions. And I think that was the enrichment internally of the city hall that this training program allow it. And also just looking outside, we would like at São Paulo City Hall engage in more international training, and we have some challenges. So we are in South America. We are our time difference is too much. So online programs can have this challenges, but also it is important to go to the field and see with our own eyes soul experiences, for example, that also could be another great challenge because of the physical distance. Getting your airplane to Korea could be double stressful time and financial burden. But I think we can manage and we will manage these challenges because we really think, and our secretary, we want to restate that the international cooperation and training is really important to the quality and the update, and for our technical team see another kind of solution with another perspective that can be shared internationally in these programs. So thank you, and we look forward to have many other future experiences. Thank you.
Thanks, Renan and Hanam again. In particular, I really appreciate the Hanam's input about the importance of education and continuing education because, well, as a professor, I'm teaching many students who usually working for their professional positions, but now they are rolling and learning as a student. And as you mentioned, internally and also externally, because everybody, I know that public officials, they're all busy for just their routine jobs. But I think in this kind of fast-changing society, the continuing education is very important. As you also emphasize, when you learn from others, in particular from other countries and other cultures, that is really enhancing our perspective for outside and some different perspectives. So I really appreciate your input and emphasizing that aspect. So now we invite Leon, a program manager of World Smart and Sustainable Cities Organization, or WeGo. Leon organized with the SHRDC, the online training program, which Renan, whom we just has participated last month. Leon, thank you for joining us today. And could you tell me about what is special about your SHRDC online training experience?
Hello, afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Professor Tin. Yes, as you mentioned, there's many familiar faces here today. Some of the people that joined the program, like Renan, also Henan before, and we did this training program online this year. You know, the pandemic has limited quite a lot the way we implement the programs, right? And this year, when we were working on the preparation on how to improve the programs, more value to all the public officials that are joining them, we had this conversation with SHRDC team, which I will also like to thank Mr. Sompe, Kevin, Kate for all the help and support. And one of the issues that we face it is, well, one of the requirements is the presentation of an action plan, right, as part of the program. And many times because of the time limit that we have to implement the programs, and also considering how busy all the officials are, it's difficult to implement the action plan right the first time, right? So we decided to come up with this idea, which was basically do a hierarchical action plan presentation, which is doing first a preliminary session to present the action plans and receive some feedback. And then after the officials receive feedback from the experts, they could develop a final plan that they will present, allowing them to improve a little bit the results, right? And I think the advantages of this system have been quite good, at least from our side. And I hope also all the participants that are here today agree. I think the benefits were clear of these changes. The first one is that it allows participants to adjust a little bit the plan, right? Having just one action plan presentation, sometimes it can be a little bit challenging in terms of like participants might prepare something that is not exactly what we were expecting as the requirements of the program, right? So having this feedback and seeing other participants doing things will allow them to change that action plan, adapt it, and have a much better and polished action plan, which in the end is going to be more practical to implement at a city level in the future, right? It also has the advantages, as Hendon was mentioning, one of the good things about the programs, you can hear from other cities opinions and ideas, right? I think the preliminary action plan allows all training officials participating in the program to see other people's plans before they are finalized, right? So you can get a little bit of a sense, okay, what kind of things are other participants doing good? What kind of things can I incorporate to improve my my program, right? So that part is also quite good. At the same time, it also provides a little bit more of time, also like Hannah was mentioning, for the different department, right? You do the first preliminary action plan, then afterwards you have time to, okay, talk with them, see how we can improve it. And I think this step-by-step and sort of like trial error process is very important in general for learning, but specifically for this program as well. And lastly, I think it also gives a little bit less sense of pressure. If one of the requirements is the action plan and you have to submit it at once, you don't have the certainty like, oh, am I doing it okay? Am I doing it wrong, right? But if you have this preliminary action plan first, it will allow you to, okay, get a sense like, I did things wrong, I did things right, correct them, improve them a little bit, and then go with a final version that is much better and in the end, much more useful. So I think at least from WeGo, we were very happy with the experience, and we hope all the officials that we train feel the same way. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Leon, and also you also emphasize the importance of preliminary action plans because we guys are basically practitioners, right? Even we are good at for planning, but eventually at the end we need to create some action plans. So when you are not sure about the direction, and then sharing your ideas with your other colleagues was very useful through this online programming. So now we will come back to here at SHRDC. We will give the floor to Luga. She is a strategy manager, ICLEI East Asia Secretariat. She has been working with SHRDC since 2018, right? It's been a quite long time. Yeah. So can you just share your experience and some success stories and anything you want to maybe suggest? What would it be kind of, the SHRDC and then other similar comparable online program and other continuing education program for city officials can do?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Professor Jin. And also, first of all, on behalf of the ICLEI East Asia, I really would like to thank our great partner, SHRDC, for inviting us to this very meaningful forum. And I'm also very glad to see that actually many cities participated in today's forum are also ICLEI members as well. So I'm very happy to see everyone here. So we collaborated with SHRDC for this annual training program, especially for the Chinese local governments since 2016 until now. So this program has been really recognized as a very important platform for the policy sharing and also city-to-city exchange between Seoul City and also the participating cities, even during the COVID actually era. So we are very proud of that. And then I know that I have some limited time, so I really want to highlight some of my reflections related to the recent online training, which was held in June. So I want to share two perspectives regarding this training. The first of all is about the right timing, right place with right people. In Chinese, it's called 天时地利人和. So when we designed this year's program, it was the right timing that the Korea Carbon Neutral Green Growth Agreement Act just took effective. And at the same time, the Chinese local governments also was very passionate to make their own carbon neutrality actions and also roadmap. So really thanks to the SHRDC's dedicated curriculum, we attracted more than 100 participants from online from 26 Chinese local governments to join this program this year. So yeah, so it was a really great success. And also, second of all, the second perspective is innovation and enthusiasm. So I really want to say that this year, SHRDC included this self-directed online lectures as one of the training methodology. Actually, it was the first time that we adopted this for Chinese local officials, which I was really a little bit concerned why it was effective at first. However, it turned out that this really innovative self-learning has become one of the favorite parts for all the participants because they were very happy that they can repeatedly watch the videos based on their own schedules and timelines. And even they asked us if they can continue watch them after the training programs. So I think really, especially they really commented on this well-designed contents and also about this really user-friendly designing of the videos and also all the lectures there. So taking this opportunity, I really want to thank our SHRDC colleagues again for your efforts and the professionalism. And then I think looking forward to the future, as President Lee just mentioned, we really want to work together with SHRDC. On one hand, to promote Seoul City's urban solutions to more Chinese cities. On the other hand, we really want to promote this city-to-city exchange between Seoul City and also the other cities through this urban environment policy. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Liuga, for sharing your experience in very detail. In particular, you are emphasizing the importance of carbon neutral efforts. You said 26? 26 in China. Yeah, so that's a lot, and because China and Korea is geographically very close, so I believe there are many opportunities we can develop together. And also another thing you just mentioned is that usually in online program we are usually ignoring the importance of innovation. Even that is always the important nature of a lot of communication. So nowadays there are a lot of debate about the importance of online participation and smart citizenships and innovative urbanism. So I really kind of excited to hear that is really possible through this collaboration. Okay, thanks again. And now we will give the floor to Camille and Keisha, two of our MUAP students. So let's begin with Camille first. Camille, you're from Kuala Lumpur, right? Training Institute, right? So I believe this is a quite compatible institution, SHRDC, kind of a Kuala Lumpur version of SHRDC. So Can you share some commonalities and some differences and what you can learn from here and maybe what we can learn from Kuala Lumpur example?
Okay, thank you, Professor Chin. Yeah, I'd like to resonate what you just said. Kuala Lumpur Training Institute actually have similarities with SHRDC. So we kind of look at SHRDC as the benchmark for the best practices. So when we look at best practices, we always look at, what SHRDC is doing about it. So we have this conversation back previously before the COVID-19 pandemic that we want to learn more about the public service deliveries in Seoul. So SHRDC has always been the focal point when we want to reach out to SMGs or all other institutions. So from that perspective, Kuala Lumpur is very passionate about capacity development programs. So we want to deliver the best services to the Kuala Lumpur people, but of course we need to know how to do it. So based on this interaction, we have scanned our organization and we communicate this interest to SHRDC. And of course, with the pandemic, there's a limitation of physical interaction. Then we opt for, of course, an online training program. However, based on our conversation, because of the nature of the training, we decided that it should be the hybrid, because sometimes going there to the site physically actually learn something based on seeing. What we call it, seeing is believing. So we want to move forward with that in case in 2023, we want to reestablish the partnership between Kuala Lumpur and also SHRDC. In terms of that, we want to focus more perhaps in terms of if we cannot go to Seoul, maybe people from Seoul can come to Kuala Lumpur in a sense. Yeah. So we will really look forward in terms of urban management, smart city, of course, Professor. And also the most important thing is to have networking and collaboration with the Seoul Local Institute as well. So yeah, I think I'm really hopeful for the next year. Thank you.
Thanks, Camille. In particular, you have pointed out the importance of in-person meeting still, because I believe this kind of online communication, right, or kind of through Zoom and other kind of compatible online tool, that platform is not really replacing, but probably enhancing our face-to-face interaction in many cases. I know that there are some case examples that if we are friends through SNS or Facebook, we have more in-person meeting as well. Yeah, so even because I think this is one of the important topics we're going to talk more in, we are kind of continuing in this pandemic situation. So we need to thinking about importance of this online communication, but also what we can do as you just mentioned, kind of hybrid model, right? How we can combine properly online as well as in-person meeting for education and learning best practices from other cities and countries. So now, Keisha, from Indonesia. Right? So it's been now 4 months, right? 5 months?
Yes, almost 4 months, Professor.
Since you came to Seoul, Korea,
yes.
Right? And as our student, MITI student. So can you just briefly share your experience so far? Even that is quite quick and brief. And what do you expect? And because we're now talking about this education and training, and can you just a little bit share your thought and impression?
Okay, thank you, Professor. Before that, I also want to a little bit elaborate about how Indonesian perspective about the robust development of Seoul. So we're really aware that the Seoul has a very robust and fast development process. That's why we are very interested in studying in Seoul. So in case of Jakarta, actually from what I know, since 2008, Jakarta has been sending several officials to learn from Seoul as well. So from 2014,
I think there are more than 10 public officials who studied and currently studying in Seoul, in this case from MUAP. And from what I know, it's not only beneficial for their professional skill or their knowledge, also it's very beneficial for to boost their career in the government. And for me personally, this opportunity, I'm very grateful that we have this international study and conducted offline, because I can have like a personal growth and also professional growth. So this program really can broaden my knowledge about urban planning in general, and also about other problems, other urban problems, and also we learn about case studies from other countries, not especially from Seoul. Yeah, and we have several programs, very interesting programs within this 1 year. So I'm really grateful for this program. Thank you, Professor.
Thanks, Lisa. Okay, thank you. And last but not least, we'll invite Dr. Maggie from MITI Regional Center in Cairo. Dr. Maggie participated recently resumed SHRDC offline training. Maggie will share her experience. Dr. Maggie, thank you for joining us. Mic is yours. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, SHRC, for inviting me here. I just want to tell what happened last 2 years. Luckily, I was the one attended the November 2020 online program, which was in smart city, and it was very fascinating and impressed how the Seoul and the Korea managed taught us about the smart management for transportation, BMS and BIS, and their policy for it. And then I had a second opportunity again in September 2021 to attend another online session or online training program. It was about resilient city, and I saw how it was changed between, of course, the first one and the second one. Like Dr. Raza said before, there was live sessions, and we felt, or I felt actually, it's a big difference, because we want to it not only to receive sessions, but that was very interesting for me. And of course, lately I came from October 2022, last month, from Seoul. And that was a very, very, very exciting because in lots of fields, first of all, what they taught us online, and then we saw what's happening actually on the field. That was very impressive. It's very. We went to a lot of visits, Seoul Metro, Seoul Emergency Operation Center, and others. And it was impressive how also Seoul or Korea, their management methods and policy is very impressive. I can, from my point, very different from here in Cairo. That's why I think of any cooperation in the future for any workshop or something that I would love to make it about this topic, especially because what I'm saying now, it's what's in Seoul. They have their management policy. We would like to have their experience here in Egypt, especially their if it's proactive methods, management, and before the before the siege. That's what we also taught in some lectures in Seoul, back in Seoul. That was a very interesting one. Of course, the life was very impressive. How it's, I looked at the city and how is it human needs and human comforts in designing and everything in open space and everything. That's what I also came up the idea that we can cooperate with you in such manner, and that's it. Hopefully we are learn from you more and more and bring your experience back here to Cairo in any way, either by workshop or action plans, or then train another colleagues here in HBRC in Cairo. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Maggie. Because I forgot to mention one more speaker because that was not available to see on Zoom screen, so I just skipped. But now we will invite a special guest to speak, Helen Jordan, Learning Officer of Metropolitan Secretariat from Barcelona, Spain. Thanks for waiting and your patience. Hi, Helen. Thank you for joining us. And as the Learning Officer of Metropolitan Secretariat, what is your impression about SHRDCs and last 15 years of achievement, and what could be the improvement you are looking for?
Thank you very much, Dr. Chin, for having me here. It is a pleasure to join you and to see all the participants and the alumni of the SHRDC training courses. Actually, Metropolis and SHRDC have been collaborating for over a decade. Actually, SHRDC is one of the most important collaborators related to training, as it leads the Metropolis International Training Institute, jointly with Mashhad, Cairo, and Mexico training centers. In this sense, for the last 2 years, SHRDC jointly with Metropolis and UCLG have been organizing a self-paced online course under the name of Resilient City. This year we will collaborate once again all together, but under a different topic. Related to the Resilient City course, it was focused on social, economic, and climate resilience. So we could tackle all the dimensions of resilience itself and learn that one dimension cannot be addressed without taking into account the rest of the dimensions. So this year, our this year an offline course was organized at SHRDC's installations, and it was a continuation of the online training. And it was very successful, actually, and it was good to see all the person after seeing them online and after almost 3 years of online training due to COVID-19 pandemic. As Maggie mentioned, she could participate. It was quite impressive to see all the policies of Seoul. This year we will launch, as I mentioned, a course in July, and it will address all the challenges related to health and welfare. So we think our cities and metropolitan spaces can become much healthier spaces by adding issues related to climate change, by planning better, and by providing a range of services that can make people's daily life much complex. And in addition to that, I would like to invite you also to our Metropolis World Congress, which will take place in Brussels this year, well, in 2023, from the 12th to the 15th June. And the theme of this Congress will be Building Better Cities for People. Our Congress will be held simultaneously with Eurocities and OECD Cities Congresses. So I am looking very much forward to seeing you next year, I hope, on an offline manner, I would say. And I trust Expert Forum has been very successful. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Helen, for your update, because I was personally very curious about what's really happening in European cities and in the center of Europe, Barcelona, that because on the early stage of COVID-19, European cities has been really struggling and wrestling with those COVID-19 impact. But I'm very happy to hear that now you are really kind of coming back to almost normal situation and resume a lot of activities and some efforts to make our cities to be more kind of promising for the near future. So now we also invite special MIT student with us here at SHRDC. Edith Angelos, General Coordination of Advisors and International Affairs. And she is now joining us on behalf of Mexico City International Relations Director and MITI Regional Center in Mexico City. Edith, floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. On behalf of the government of Mexico City, I would like to share with you the experience of Mexico City. Mexico City is an active member of Metropolis, and within this framework, Mexico City hosts the Metropolis Regional Secretariat for the North America, housed in the International Affairs Office of the Mexico City. The regional secretary, Mariana Flores Mayen, could not participate in these events by the difference of time. Now in Mexico City, it's midnight. Also, Mexico City hosts the MITI Regional Centers for the Americas, located at the School of Public Administration of Mexico City. Since 2014, public officials from Mexico City have participated in the training programs in Seoul offered by the SHRDC, and topics such as e-government, water management, urban management, and international cooperation. Metropolis Regional Training Center for the Americas, in collaboration with the SHRDC, has organized face-to-face and online courses. So, international training offered by the SHRDC, face-to-face and online, has contributed to strengthen and expand the Seoul City, Mexico City collaboration, as well as enhance understanding and strengthen friendship between the two cities. Also, has contributed to strengthen the institutional capacities of Mexico City government, explore potential topics and areas of Seoul and Mexico City cooperation, strengthen the work of the regional training centers for the Americas, but also for promote the networking driven by Metropolis, offer a space for rapprochement and exchange urban experiences and good practices between cities in Asia, Africa, and in the Americas. Promote collaborations between regional centers to offer joint training and broaden their scope. Among the challenge of international training, we can mention the resumed face-to-face courses, since they offer the possibility to learning firsthand about experiences and good practices, and facilitating technical exchanges. At the same time, strengthening online trainings, which is more inclusive and allows for greater outreach. Also, other challenge is increased collaboration between SHRDC and MITI Regional Training Center for America, and foster closer ties between cities in Asia and the Americas. Broaden the scope of the online courses between Mexico City and SHRDC. They could be opened to the public officials from different metropolis member cities. Mexico City is in the best position to share its experiences and the best practices. And the last, systematize the best practices of the cities participating in the training program. Thank you very much, SHRDC, for the support and for the collaboration.
Thanks, Edith. It was great to hear another success story from Mexico and Central America. So today we have shared a lot of experience and some success stories and some difficulties from around the world, right? From Southern Americas and from Europe and from Asia, and also in Seoul. So as we discuss along, I think we have a lot of things to do all together, maybe through online platform as well as in-person meeting and communication like this. So maybe the online participants are not able to see how many people in this room, but including us, for in-person panelists, we have about more than 30 or 40 persons now participating this communication forum. So that means this is one evidence that still in this online platform world, the importance of in-person and face-to-face interactions. I'm very hopeful that because without COVID-19, we never tested the model of online communication, but that has, of course, we have a lot of difficulties where we lost a lot of kind of friends and families, but also it was a really important social experiment that has really expedited the process toward online platform. And now many global kind of tech companies, such as the Meta, they are now experimenting how cyberspace and online space can replace or enhance our human society for the future. So I believe this short and quick debate and discussion has been give us some assignment, right? We need to solve. So I really thank and appreciate again for all the panelists. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your input. Okay, then let's conclude our forum and discussion today. Thank you, everybody. So now we will invite again President Lee to the stage for his final remark.
예, 감사합니다. 오늘 포럼을 2시부터 4시까지 2시간을 잡았는데 3시간 정도를 잡았어야 될 것 같다는 생각이 드네요.
Thank you, everybody. Originally, we planned to have this forum for 2 hours, but we already passed the 3 hours, so we've better prepared 3 hours for our forum.
오늘 온오프라인의 형태로 사실 뭐 지구상으로 서울에 거의 정반대에 있는 상파울로부터 카이로나 타슈켄트 같은 데서 온라인 참석을 해주셨고 또 현장에도 우리 진여택 교수님과 또 시립대에서 연수 중인 또 세계 각지에서 오신 또 공무원 여러분이 참석해 주셨는데요. 너무나 뜨겁게 또 참여를 해주시고 또 좋은 의견을 많이 주셔서 먼저 감사 말씀을 드립니다.
Today, many of you are joining us from Sao Paulo, Cairo, Tashkent, which is very, very far from Seoul. And also on site, we have Professor Jin and many students of University of Seoul who are the officials from the world. And I'd like to thank you guys to share the insights and your opinions.
지금 기후 변화를 비롯해서 코로나19도 그렇고 또 뭐 여러 가지 경제적인 문제 등등 우리가 맞닥뜨리고 있는 도시적인 문제뿐만이 아니라 전 인류적인 문제를 해결해 가는 데 있어서는 특정 국가나 특정 도시 하나의 노력으로 될 수 있는 것들이 아니라 결국 지구상의 모든 도시와 국가들의 협력된 노력이 반드시 필요한 그런 상황이라고 생각됩니다.
So including climate change, COVID-19, and economic crisis, we are confronting the global challenges, not only urban problems. So we cannot resolve those problems with one single city or country's effort. So solidarity and cooperation is in need.
그런 면에서 저희 서울시와 서울시 인재개발원에서 지난 2008년부터 나름의 역할을 하기 위한 어떤 노력의 일환으로 이번 국제 연수를 15년 정도 운영을 해왔고 또 그 과정에서 전 세계적으로 250여 개 도시와 숫자상으로는 한 2,700명 정도의 외국 연수생들이 온오프라인 상에서 만나고 또 서울의 여러 가지 경험과 정책을 논의하는 그런 자리들을 운영을 해왔습니다.
Since 2008, for about 15 years, Seoul City and SHRDC have been shared its policy experiences and communication with 2,700 foreign officials from around 250 cities on and offline.
한편으로 그 세계의 각 도시들은 한편으로는 공통의 또 같은 문제들을 안고 있는 것과 동시에 또 한편으로는 각 도시의 어떤 고유한 물리적인 또 지리적인 환경이나 또 역사적인 여건이나 또 그 도시 안에 살고 있는 어떤 사람의 여건과 특성 측면에서 차이점이 그러니까 동일한 면과 차이점이 같이 있다고 생각이 됩니다.
Many cities in the world have common issues, but at the same time they have different and unique characteristics, including geopolitical, historical situation, and people.
그런 측면에서 우리가 부닥치고 있는 여러 문제들을 해결해 가는 과정에 있어서 타 도시들의 사례나 경험을 우리가 공유하고 또 그 사례와 경험에서 나타난 성공과 실패를 미리 학습함으로써 우리 도시 각 개별 도시가 안고 있는 문제들을 보다 효과적으로 해결할 수 있는 좋은 방안이 될 걸로 생각합니다.
So in this perspective, in the process of resolving those problems, we need to share experiences and know-hows to resolve those problems. Therefore, we should learn from the trial and errors so that we can resolve those problems more effectively.
아까 여러 발표와 또 패널 토론 과정에서도 여러 도시들의 교통이나 스마트 시티나 여러 가지 경험들이 짧게 설명이 됐습니다만은 서울도 마찬가지로 서울과 한국도 지난 50여 년의 과정에서 나름의 어떤 빠른 성장과 발전을 이루어온 가장 큰 힘도 앞선 도시나 국가들의 경험이나 시행착오를 참고하면서 그 과정에서 서울과 한국의 가장 적합한 발전 모델을 그때 잡아서 시행해온 그런 결과물이라고 생각됩니다.
So through the presentations and panel discussions, we shared many experiences from other cities. Korea and Seoul as well had the 50 years of development process, and we have achieved remarkable growth. And the driving force was the remarkable growth we were the fast follower. It means that Seoul and Korea successfully applied those cases into our situation.
예, 그런 면에서 서울은 이제까지 해왔던 것처럼 앞으로도 서울이 겪었던 성공의 경험과 또 다른 어떤 실패 내지는 또 문제를 야기했었던 그런 사례들을 세계의 여러 도시들과 공유하면서 함께 우리가 닥친 우리가 안고 있는 여러 문제를 함께 해결해 나가는 그런 사례들을 지속적으로 모색해 보고자 합니다.
So we'll share many successful experiences and case of errors with other cities of the world so that we can find the appropriate solution for the world global issues together.
방법적인 측면에서도 15년 동안 2,700명 정도가 오프라인으로 참석을 했었는데 코로나19 이후로 하나의 보편적인 방법이 된 온라인 교육을 보다 더 효과적으로 사용을 하고 또 그 과정에서 실질적인 어떤 현장 방문이나 그런 것들을 할 수 있는 오프라인 교육들을 가장 효율적인 방법으로 좀 통합을 함으로써 참석자들은 최대한 넓혀 나가고 또 단순히 참여자의 확대라는 양적 측면만이 아니라 실제로 서울의 사례들이 해외 여러 도시들의 어떤 문제 해결에 실질적인 참고가 될 수 있도록 그 어떤 연수나 교육의 품질도 같이 향상해 나가는 방안들을 같이 만들어 보겠습니다.
So in terms of method, the successful training program was carried out on and offline with 2,700 officials for the past 15 years. And after the COVID-19 pandemic, the online training has been universal method of training. So we need to effectively use this method, and we should integrate the effective online method into practical offline on-site training so that we can help not only in quantity but also in quality other cities.
지금 여러 가지로 이제 고도화되고 또 정착되고 있는 오늘도 마찬가지입니다만은 이런 온라인의 여러 시스템을 잘 활용하고 또 오늘 포럼에도 같이 함께 해주신 UCLG나 메트로폴리스나 이클레이, 위고 이런 어떤 국제 기구들과의 협력들도 더 확대를 해 나간다면은 제가 봤을 때는 시 공간적인 제약을 탈피하면서 보다 적은 비용을 가지고도 많은 효과를 낼 수 있는 그런 국제 연수 프로그램이 가능할 걸로 생각이 되십니다.
I think we could make improved international training program if we go beyond the limit of time and space with the lower cost. And we need to cooperate with other international institutions such as UCLG, ICLEI, and WIGO with these advanced technology and online systems.
내용적인 측면에서도 이제까지는 주로 서울의 사례를 알려드리고 또 경험할 수 있는 과정이 주를 이루었지만은 앞으로는 서울의 사례만이 아니라 타 도시의 사례들도 좀 더 적극적으로 공유하고 또 그 과정에서 적합한 해결 방안들을 찾아가는 데 있어서 개인 간의 집단 지성만이 아니라 세계 각 도시의 어떤 지혜와 경험과 노하우를 같이 모은다면은 훨씬 더 좋은 해결책들을 같이 만들어 갈 수 있을 것이고 그렇게 된다면은 지금 우리 SHRDC의 연수 프로그램이 명실상부하게 공공정책의 국제적인 플랫폼으로 자리를 잡을 수 있다고 생각이 되시고요. 그런 과정에서 서울시는 이제까지 해온 만큼의 노력들을 더욱 더 해나갈 생각이니까 오늘 함께 하신 분들만이 아니고 세계 각 도시들이 그런 노력들을 같이 해서 좋은 어떤 공공정책 플랫폼을 만들어 갔으면 좋겠습니다.
So in terms of content, from now on, we only focus on the cases of Seoul's policies. But in the future, we will share more successful cases from other cities in order to find solutions for global issues. So we need to join forces to resolve global problem. SHRDC International Training Program will be the new norm and the platform of public policy diplomatic institution. And Seoul will also continue its effort to improve itself, and I call for engagement from you guys.
예, 뭐 이 정도로 맺은 말 마치고요. 내년에는 보다 더 많은 도시, 보다 더 많은 참여자들과 함께 더 좋은 또 알찬 내용을 가지고 다시 또 만나 뵙도록 하겠습니다. 예, 고맙습니다.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. And next year, we will come again with more participants and with more fruitful content. Thank you very much. So those who are online, please show your smile as well. I cannot see your smiles. Why so rigid faces? Good, you look good.